Photographs are windows to moments forever frozen in time. But what happens when these windows capture something that shouldn't be there? Throughout history, there have been countless unexplained images that defy logic and reason. Images that make us question not just what we see, but what might be looking back at us. In 1967, the Henderson family decided to have a picnic in an open field near their home in Kansas. The day was bright, the scene was ordinary. A family sharing sandwiches on a checkered blanket. But when the photographs were developed, something chilling emerged. Standing in what appeared to be a grove of trees was a dark, faceless figure. The problem? The field had been completely empty that day. No trees, no people, just open space. 3 months later, the youngest Henderson child vanished without a trace. The photo negative disappeared the same night. Modern technology hasn't made these phenomena any less mysterious. If anything, it's made them more disturbing. Security cameras capture impossible figures that appear and vanish in seconds. Digital photos show distortions that can't be explained by software glitches or camera malfunctions. Some of these images, when enhanced, reveal details that seem to defy the very laws of reality, as if something is trying to break through from the other side. Consider the case of the wedding photographer in Portland, 2019. Among the hundreds of photos taken that day was one that made the blood run cold. There, among the smiling guests, was a face no one recognized, pale, hollow-eyed, staring directly at the newlyweds with an empty expression.
Grandpa?
When shown the photo, the bride collapsed in tears. The face belonged to her grandfather, who had died 15 years earlier. In some cultures, there are strict taboos against certain types of photography. You ever hear of anything like this, Captain? Not because of the oft-repeated myth about stealing souls, but because of what might come back through the lens.
Ghost stories? Voodoo curses? Washington, I've been on the force 30 years. I've seen a lot of crazy, but this is a grieving woman seeing what she wants to see.
Maybe, but what if it's more than that? There are cultures, ancient tribes. They believe photographs can be doorways. Ancient tribes believed that photographs could become doorways, portals through which entities could attach themselves to our world.
Doorways to what? The spirit world?
Portals, maybe. A way for something to attach itself to our world. Not about stealing souls, but about what might come back through the lens. They weren't afraid of losing something to the camera. They were afraid of what might follow it home.
Detective, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we deal in facts here, evidence, not folklore. I need you focused on the living, not chasing ghosts.
But if there's a chance...
No, there isn't. This is a waste of resources. Close the case. Now. A chance of what, Detective? Finding a boogeyman in a photo album?
This isn't just any photo, Captain. Founded in Detroit years back. Construction crew working on a demolition site.
Kids playing, so?
Look closer, lower left corner.
Jesus, what is that?
They tore down the park a few weeks later. Found human remains buried under the playground.
Remains?
Enough, and next to the bones, a shattered camera. Film unexposed.
Coincidence, it has to be.
Maybe. But what if it isn't? What if that camera caught something it shouldn't have? And then there are the ones that just appear.
Jesus, where did this come from?
Morton woke up one morning, phone unlocked. That was in his gallery. No sign of forced entry, and Morton swears he was alone. Then there are the ones that won't stay gone.
What's this?
Vancouver, 2015. Guy noticed that figure in the background of a family photo. He burned it. Next morning, it was back in his drawer.
Okay, I'm starting to get a little creeped out.
Then there's this. Urban explorers. They thought the place was deserted.
But it wasn't.
They went back a few days later. Same spot waiting. A woman received this photo of her childhood home. She visited the house weeks later, abandoned for years. The same figure was standing in the same window as if 20 years had never passed.
What are you saying, Washington?
I'm saying, what if these aren't just images? What if every photograph is a potential doorway, a window that opens both ways? Next time you look through old photos, pay attention to the details. The shadows that don't quite match, the reflections that shouldn't be there, the faces in the background that no one remembers. But be careful, Captain, because sometimes when you look too long at a photograph, something might look back. And if you ever take a picture and notice something that shouldn't be there, don't try to understand it. Don't try to delete it. Because if something has managed to appear in your photograph, it means it's already closer than you think.